Hello, everyone. My name is Velvet, and I am good friends with Harry. I came to tell you your story for the day, the conclusion of our story from yesterday called Peter Pays Up. If you remember, Peter had gone with his grandma to the store, and he got into the blackberries and ate far too many. And his grandma saw the residue of the blackberries around his mouth, and she was not happy that he had taken them without permission. Oh, she was so upset. She said, "Peter, let us walk home, and we will discuss what we're going to do about this." Peter began to cry. It was a very sad walk home that they had together, far different from the walk they had had to the store, now going home. When they got indoors, Grandma took Peter aside, and she said, "You have made me very sad by stealing. That is breaking one of the commandments. There are 2 things you have to do. First, you must ask God to forgive you, and then you must go back to the store and ask Mrs. Green to forgive you and pay her for the berries you have eaten. Tell her how sorry you are for taking them." Peter said, "I don't mind asking God to forgive me, but I don't want to ask Mrs. Green." "I know it's hard," said Grandma, "but it's the only way. Now go and find your wallet." "You mean I have to pay for the berries myself?" "Surely you must," said Grandma. "But that will take all my money," said Peter. "Never mind if it takes all you have," said Grandma. "You have to make it right. But I don't think it will take all you have. It will only be about $1. $1, said Peter. "Do I have to give Mrs. Green my whole $1? "Yes," said Grandma. "And the sooner you go down to see her, the better. Wipe your eyes now and be a brave boy." Peter wiped them down with the back of his hands, and Grandma kissed him goodbye. She walked along with him as he went along to pay for the groceries at the store. Oh, it seemed like a long walk as he dragged every foot as he went down. But as soon as he went inside with his heart beating, Mrs. Green said, "What? You're back so soon? Did Grandma forget something?" "No," said Peter slowly. I did." "You did," said Mrs. Green. "Well, what did you forget?" "Mrs. Green, please, I forgot to pay for the blackberries I ate, and, please, Grandma said they'd cost about $1, so I've brought it out of my very own money, and, please, I'm very sorry I didn't ask you before I ate them first." And with that, Peter put the $1 on the counter, turned around, and ran for the door. Opening it, he dashed outside to where his grandma was waiting, but he'd not gone far when he heard Mrs. Green calling. "Peter," she said, "I want you for a minute. Come back." Very slowly, Peter went back inside, as if he was expecting to be scolded. "You forgot something else," said Mrs. Green, smiling, and she handed him a paper bag. "Oh, no," said Peter, "I didn't leave that. But it's for you anyway," said Mrs. Green. "Just something good for you for supper." Then she patted him on the head and told him to run home quickly. Peter thought he saw tears in her eyes, but he wasn't quite sure, and he couldn't think why. How fast he ran that time, with his grandma trailing behind. "Oh, Grandma, we've got to get home and see what's inside this bag." It was something delicious looking, and inside the bag when they got home was a delicious donut with jam inside. "Aren't you glad you went back and made things right?" said Grandma. "Oh, I sure am," exclaimed Peter. "It's always the best thing to do," said Grandma. Oh, I'm so glad Peter went back and made things right. And I'm so glad to get to see you all this morning for your story. Always remember, honesty is always the best way, guys. We'll talk to you later for more stories with Macy and Friends.